Hi all, today we are going to discuss about cost of electrical energy. So whenever you are planning to install any new power plant, so initially huge initial investment is required, which we generally call as the capital cost. And once the plant is installed, for running the plant there will be a running cost. That means broadly speaking, the electrical energy involves the two things. We have to recover this capital cost that is invented back because there will be limited life of the plant, and the second one term will be the running cost. So combination of the based on these two costs only we will decide our tariff. So this can be defined in another way also. This electrical energy can be divided into three different type of cost. To make the analysis easy, they are fixed cost, semi-fixed cost, and running or operating cost. So this can be divided in this form also. Let us see one by one in detail now. So first one, I am starting with the capital cost. We know that any power plant need huge initial investment or capital cost, which include the cost of land. We have to purchase the land or take the land on rent. Then we have to construct the buildings there. We have to purchase the equipments, as well as the installation of that equipment also needs some amount. So these costs, because all these are called as the capital cost, this amount is generally borrowed from the banks. So generally they are taken as a loan from the bank. So, and the supplier company or this company, because it is borrowed from the bank, we have to pay the annual interest on this amount. Whatever amount is taken, we have to pay the interest on this amount. So that should be collected from the consumer only ultimately. And then we know the life of any plant is not infinite, because every plant or every type of power plant will have the limited lifetime. It depends on the type of the power plant. Like the time duration can vary between 30 to 60 years depending on which type of power plant will be there. So it will be highest for the case of thermal power plant, it will be less for the least for the case of solar power plant. So it will vary between these two, so depending on the plant. So from the time of installation, its equipment and buildings steadily deteriorates with time, and hence the value of the plant reduces every year, which is called as a depreciation, because year by year the value of the equipment will get degraded because it becomes old, and gradually it will completely spoil. It cannot be used, it will reach that stage. So due to the depreciation of the value of the equipment, the plant has to be replaced by a new one after its useful lifetime. So gradually it will get degraded, finally a point will come, it will become obsolete, and we have to replace the plant. We have to replace all the parts with the new parts, like building should be replaced, equipment should be replaced. So that is called as a depreciation. So in order to compensate for this, what we will do, a suitable amount must be set aside every year, which is called as the depreciation cost, so that by the end of the useful life of the plant, the collected amount is equal to the cost of replacement of the plant. So every year we will keep some amount aside, so that by the end of the lifetime of the plant, we will collect the required amount in order to replace the plant. Because even though the plant become obsolete, the equipment we can sell it in the junk, so you will get some amount. That amount plus the amount that is collected as a depreciation should be sufficient to purchase the new equipment after that time period. So accordingly some depreciation will be kept aside. So depending on what are the different methods for this depreciation, the depreciation be collected in the form of a straight line method. That means with respect to the time, the value is decreasing in a straight line. Or second type of method is a diminishing value method, or the sinking fund method. So these methods will be discussed in detail in the next lecture. So this lecture we are going to complete the cost of energy part. So then coming to the fixed cost, I told you the other way of representation is fixed cost, semi-fixed cost, and running cost. So now let us discuss that. So this fixed cost, it is independent of the maximum demand and the number of units generated. So whenever you keep the power plant, so there will be central organization. So the number of employees or number of people who get the salary in the central organization, it is independent of the size of the plant. Similarly, the interest on the capital cost of the land and the salaries of higher officials. So generally whenever you are keeping a new power plant, you can see that the land that is purchased will not be exactly equal to the what is the capacity of the plant. So always we keep for the future purpose also some extra land required. Like let us take for example, in order to construct a plant we need 50 acre, but generally we try to get as maximum land as possible so that we can expand easily in the future. That means the amount of the land that is taken will be independent of the size nearly. So that's why this is generally comes in the fixed cost. It is semi dependent, so generally we take it as the fixed cost only. And similarly the salaries of the higher officials, number of higher officials are independent of size of the plant. That's why this comes under the fixed cost. Then comes the semi fixed cost. So it depends on maximum demand. What is the maximum demand on your plant? That depends, that is called as the semi fixed cost, but it will be independent of number of units generated. So this include annual interest and depreciation on capital investment of buildings, equipments, because this the number of buildings to be constructed, the number of equipment to be purchased, they depend on the plant capacity only. That means they are dependent on the maximum demand. And similarly the amount of the taxes that are paid, even they also depend on what is the installed capacity. So then the insurance charges also, even the insurance, because we will make the insurance for our industry, even they also will depend on this maximum demand. Similarly salaries of the management and clerical staff, this management and clerical staff also will depend on the maximum demand only. As the plant size increases, these people will increase. And even if the plant is closed also, we have to pay all these things. So then coming to the running cost, this is the last one. So this running cost depends only upon the number of units generated. So only if some power plant is running, then only running cost will be there, otherwise running cost will not be there. So what are the different types of costs that come in this? The cost of the fuel, lubricating oil, maintenance and repair of the equipment, because maintenance and repair, only if the equipment is used, then the frequent maintenance will be required. If the equipment is used less often, then the maintenance will be less, and repairs also will come less often. Similarly the salaries of the operating staff, the salaries of the operating staff, or we can tell them as a wages also, wages of the daily labor also, that depends on the running cost. So based on these basics, we can write the expression for the cost of electrical energy in two forms. Either it can be represented as a three-part form, or it can be represented in two-part form. Three-part form means the annual energy cost is represented by fixed cost plus semi-fixed cost plus running cost. That means it is of the form A is the fixed cost, and semi-fixed cost which depend on the plant capacity. So it will be B multiplied by the maximum demand. It depends on the maximum demand. And the third one is a running cost, because running cost depends on the number of units generated. That's why cost per unit generated multiplied by number of units generated. This is called as a three-part form. And sometimes in some cases, because while discussing the above thing also, many of you will get the doubt how to differentiate between this A and B. So that's why in the two-part form, it is just the simplification of the three-part form. So whatever parameters we have mentioned as part A, that means the cost of the land, even the cost of the administration, we assume that we are not taking care of the future expansion, because that everything is decided based on the capacity only. Let us take for example, if you take the hydroelectric power plant, because everything depends on what is your generating capacity, what you want to keep only. Accordingly you will construct it. You cannot keep it for the future purpose, some extra things, right? So that's why this part A is merged into part B, that is called as two-part tariff. So in the two-part tariff, the total cost of energy will be in the form rupees A times of kilowatt plus B times of kilowatt hour. So only two parts is there, A times of kilowatt plus B times of kilowatt hour. So here A and B, small a and small b are merged together to form capital A. So let us represent with capital B to avoid the confusion. So in order to understand this two tariff, I am taking two examples so that this topic will be clear to you. So a 50 megawatt power station is operating at a load factor of 50%. So whenever you are reading any numerical item everywhere, every time just note down the given data. So it is given there 50 megawatt power station. So maximum demand is 50 megawatt and it is having a load factor of 50%. So LF is equal to 0.5. So the capital cost of building and equipment is 5 into 10 to the power of 6. So same thing I mentioned, capital cost of building and equipment is 5 into 10 to the power of 6, and the annual cost of oil, taxation and salaries of operating staff is 8 lakh rupees. So all these things are combined together, so that comes under the running cost. So that is mentioned as 8 lakh rupees. So here you will get doubt. I told that taxation previously I have mentioned above in the fixed cost, not in the second category. So it depends on the type of the case, because sometimes this taxation depends on this category because it will be mentioned in the numerical. So accordingly you have to keep them, because some parameters will be confusing among the things. So now annual cost of organization and interest on cost of the land. That means annual cost of the organization and interest on cost of the land is given as 5 lakh rupees. So it is mentioned there the fixed cost is equal to 5 lakh rupees. We have already seen this one. Then the interest and depreciation on building and equipment are 10% per annum. So we have to take the interest and depreciation on building and equipment, because building and equipment comes under semi-fixed cost, agree with me. So that we have to take 10% of the total cost. That means this total capital cost of the building and equipment is this much. Out of this sorry, every year we will take 10% as the depreciation. That much we have to pay. So with these basics, let us calculate the values of A, B and C, because we know that A is equal to E is nothing but equal to fixed cost, because they have mentioned here rupees A plus B times of kilowatt plus C times of kilowatt hour. So A is nothing but equal to fixed cost. That fixed cost is already mentioned there as 5 lakhs. So this is my fixed cost. Then we know B times of kilowatt. So B times of kilowatt is semi-fixed cost. That semi-fixed cost means you have to take the interest and depreciation on the capital cost of building and equipment. That is 5 into 10 to the power of 6. You have to multiply with 10%. 10% means 10 by 100. I have taken 10 by 100. So kilowatt, that means this is nothing but equal to maximum demand. What is your maximum demand? 50 into, it is 50 megawatt. So you have to convert to kilowatt. That's why I have converted 50 into 10 to the power of 3. So from this I calculated the value of B is equal to, you will get it as rupees 10. So similarly, the third part, C times of kilowatt hour. C times of kilowatt hour is the variable cost or the running cost. So the running cost is mentioned there as rupees 8 lakh rupees. So it is a running cost. So 8 lakh rupees will be equal to C times of kilowatt hour. We have to know the number of units generated. So number of units generated will be equal to maximum demand multiplied by load factor. Maximum demand multiplied by load factor, that gives the average demand or average load. That average load multiplied by number of hours in the year, that gives your total energy generated. So that's why I have multiplied. Maximum demand is 50 into 10 to the power of 3 into load factor is 0.5. Per year the number of hours are 8760. So you will get it as 0.3652 pies. So this way you have to calculate. Let us take one more example. A 50 megawatt hydroelectric power station has a capital cost of 1000 per kilowatt and annual depreciation charges of 10%. Annual depreciation charges of 10%. A royalty of rupees 0.5 per kilowatt of maximum demand per year and rupees 0.01 per kilowatt hour generated is to be paid by using the river water for generation of the power. The maximum demand on the power station is 80% of installed capacity and load factor is equal to 50%. Annual cost of salaries, maintenance charges, etc. is equal to 7 lakhs. If 20% of this amount is also chargeable as fixed charges, that means out of this 7 lakh they are telling 20% will come in the fixed charge, remaining amount will come in the variable charge or the second category. Getting it? So here you can see the 50 megawatt is mentioned. If nothing is mentioned, this indicates the maximum demand, but here they have mentioned the maximum demand on the station is 80% of the installed capacity. That means installed capacity is having some reserve capacity also. That means plant is having some reserve capacity also. That means this is not my maximum demand. This is my installed capacity. Please remember this one. Maximum demand is different. So let us note down the given data. It is mentioned there. The installed capacity is equal to 50 megawatt. Maximum demand is given as 80%. So it becomes 40 megawatt. Load factor is mentioned as 50%. And capital cost is mentioned there. It is 1000 per kilowatt. So capital cost is mentioned as 1000 per kilowatt of the installed capacity. So depreciation is equal to 10% and royalty is mentioned as 0.5 per kilowatt of maximum demand. and 0.01 per kilowatt hour. So cost of salaries etc. it is mentioned as 7 lakhs. So out of this 20% will come in fixed charges and remaining 80% will come under the variable charges. So we know the two-part tariff, they asked in two-part tariff, that means cost C is equal to A times of kilowatt plus B times of kilowatt hour. So let us start with the fixed charges first. So fixed charges include the depreciation. Depreciation is nothing but you have to take the fixed cost or the fixed capital cost multiplied by the percentage of the depreciation. It is mentioned that depreciation is 10%. So I mentioned here 10% means 0.1. I have to multiply with capital cost is 1000 per kilowatt multiplied by installed capacity. So this will be equal to 1000 multiplied by installed capacity is 50 into 10 to the power of 3. So total cost is 5 into 10 to the power of 6. Then it is also mentioned salaries etc. of the fixed part. So that should be 20% should be taken here. So 20% of the 7 lakhs is taken here. That will be 1.4 into 10 to the power of 5. And similarly it is mentioned royalty is equal to 0.5 times of kilowatt of maximum demand. So maximum demand is 40 megawatt, that means converting to kilowatt. So this will become 40 into 10 to the power of 3 multiplied by 0.5. We get as 20 into 10 to the power of 3. So now calculating the fixed cost per kilowatt or part A. This A is nothing but total fixed cost divided by maximum demand. So this is 5 into 10 to the power of 6 plus 1.4 into 10 to the power of 5 plus 20 into 10 to the power of 3. Actually this numerator part gives A times of kilowatt. I want A. So A is nothing but the total cost divided by maximum demand, because this kW is the maximum demand. That's why I have divided with 40 into 10 to the power of 3. You will get it as rupees 129 per kilowatt. So now coming to the running cost. So running cost, we told that 80% should be counted in this. It is mentioned in numerical. So that's why 80% of the 7 lakhs comes under the salaries, that is 5.6 into 10 to the power of 5. And we have to calculate the number of units generated per year. So units generated per year will be equal to maximum demand multiplied by load factor multiplied by number of hours in the year is 8760. So I multiplied them, I got as 175.2 into 10 to the power of 6 kilowatt hour. 10 to the power of 6 kilowatt hour. Because it is maximum demand is 40 megawatt, I have converted to kilowatt. So 40 into 10 to the power of 3. So that I will get my answer in kilowatt hour. That is the reason. So then calculation of B will be equal to the total amount that is coming, that is 5.6 into 10 to the power of 5 divided by number of units generated. So that gives the amount plus the loyalty is given in per kilowatt hour, that is per unit generated only already given. So that's why calculate this also per unit generated plus loyalty in per kilowatt hour or per unit generated. So total cost will be 0.003196 plus 0.01. It will be equal to 0.0132 per kilowatt hour. So we can write the total cost in two-part tariff form as rupees 129 times of kilowatt plus 0.132 times of kilowatt hour. So in this way you have to solve the numericals. So I hope everything is clear till now. If you still have any queries, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. I will answer to your queries from there. Thank you very much.